Thanks, Claire. Let's give you the team news, starting with Dublin, and the 5 times All-Ireland champions begin the 2020 decider with their usual solid core at the back, led by skipper Stephen Cluxton, for whom this is a 10th All-Ireland final match. It's going to be a 9th final for 2 of his backs, Mick Fitzsimons and Johnny Cooper. James McCarthy, set to start in midfield again today, is also figuring in a 10th All-Ireland alongside the man who's never played on a beaten Dublin championship team, Brian Fenton. Mind you, neither have Niall Scully nor Conor Callaghan tasted defeat at this level, while it's a completely new experience for wing forward Sean Bugler. Mayo goalkeeper David Clarke was team captain the last time Mayo got the measure of Dublin. That was 8 years ago. It's a 6th All-Ireland final match for Lee Keegan, a goal scorer twice against Dublin in finals, while playing in their first are Oisin Mullen and the very pacey Owen McLaughlin. Final debuts as well for Ryan O'Donoghue and Tommy Conroy, while about to start their 6th All-Ireland finals are team captain Aidan O'Shea and leading scorer Cillian O'Connor. The latter has scored 36 points in finals so far, and after his 4 goals and 9 points in the semi-final, Dublin will be looking to really restrict him. Dublin's subs bench serves to underline their power. Any team would love to have Brian Howard, Paul Mannion and Cormac Costello at their disposal, with Philly McMahon among others hoping to win an 8th All-Ireland medal today, while Mayo have their big guns as well standing in readiness, such as Tom Parsons, Keith Higgins and Darren Cohen, along with the likes of Porrick O'Hora and Jordan Flynn. That's the 2020 All-Ireland football final. That's what it's all about, the Sam Maguire Cup. All set then for the 2020 All-Ireland football final. It's either time for Dublin to enhance their already legendary status, or for Mayo to banish one of Gaelic football's oldest monkeys on their backs. In charge, David Coldrick from Blackhole Gaels in County Meath, his 4th All-Ireland football final. He's got Sean Herson from Tyrone, Joe McQuillan from Cavan on the sidelines, and Fergal Kelly is the sideline official. So Croke Park deserted, as it was for the hurling final last Sunday. For James Horan, a huge day. He hasn't come back just to bring his team as far as this. He's come back as manager, you may be certain, because he believes they can win. Huge challenge ahead of them. David Coldrick checking his watch. It's time to renew the rivalry. The 133rd All-Ireland football final getting underway, and straight away it's James McCarthy trying to set Dublin going, and he takes the return ball here. What a start this will be! What a start this is! In the back of the net after a matter of seconds by Dean Rock. What a start! We haven't even played 15 seconds by the time he got that ball from the return pass here. Beautifully set up for him, but a disastrous start for Mayo. James McCarthy feeding it into Dean Rock, and Dean Rock gets another goal for Dublin. Well, what about that, Kevin?
Amazing, perhaps the fastest goal ever in the history of an All-Ireland final. I don't know for sure, but it was pretty good.
Matty Ruan. Oisin Mullen here. Oisin Mullen fisting this one, and it's got over the bar. Well, that is his first ever point in the championship. He is the youngest player playing in today's final, and at least it's an immediate response by him, and showed a lot of pluck the way they got up the full length of the field to get that. And they've got it again here. Played in as far as Ryan O'Donoghue, 2 of the youngsters that James Horan has specifically favoured in his team. You can see that he has discriminated in favour of young players in his starting 15.
Well, not only did Mullen get that ball over the bar, he then went out and won the Cluxton kick-out, fed into Ryan O'Donoghue, who won his free. Now, there's a good reply, and it had to be, because going back to that opening goal, great win in the middle of the field by McCarthy. Lovely 1-2 and a clinical finish. So this is the perfect response from Mayo. Looks like there's only going to be one in it after this.
Nice place for the free taker, who is Cillian O'Connor, of course, to have his free just outside the 20-metre line. He wasn't going to miss from there. So just one in it. Having conceded that goal after a matter of seconds, they've made a good recovery. First kick out then for Stephen Cluxton, playing in his 111th championship match. Right into the centre here, and Oisin Mullen beats his man for that one. In as far as Ryan O'Donoghue. This is a very encouraging start here as they get that ball all the way in, and Cillian O'Connor hits it. puts it over the bar, and the teams are level for the first time in the final. We've only played 2.5 minutes.
Well, a very clever diagonal for a moment. It looked like a goal chance onto his left and over. Now that does get Mayo out of a really bad spot. The goal was a brilliant opener. I think we have it down around 13 seconds, is it, Ger?
13 seconds it was. One of the fastest ever. We let people search the record books to find out if it was indeed the fastest goal ever scored in an All-Ireland final, and by Dean Rock. Stephen Cloxton. Here's Owen Merchant, man whose goal, of course, lit up last year's replay against Kerry. Brian Fenton trying to get away here from Diarmuid O'Connor. All the way down into collected Con O'Callaghan. Mullen is tracking him. Into the corner here, retained by Paddy Small, played a cameo role in the drawn final last year against Kerry. Back out to Brian Fenton. And it looks like Diarmuid O'Connor is the player who's gone across, marking him. Nicely retained here by Paddy Small, trying to get away from two challenges, would-be challenges there in the end. Matty Rowan got the hand on him, fouled him, free into Dublin. Chance for them to take the lead again.
Well, there's a lovely demonstration of the power that Small brings to it. Sees the gap and backs himself, is fouled, had the advantage. And this is a Dean Rock gimme, I would imagine.
Paddy Small having had a great season so far, this truncated championship season, keeping Paul Mannion out of the side. Diarmuid O'Connor requiring some attention here. He was the one who was running there with Brian Fenton. I wonder, is he going to be the one who will be staying with him for the duration of the match?
Yeah, that's my take on it. Obviously, you spotted that Oisin Mullen is on Con O'Callaghan. There too, we definitely know. But yeah, Diarmuid O'Connor so far with Brian Fenton.
Easy kick then for Dean Rock to add to the goal he got earlier on. So a goal and a point. This is how it came about again, this goal right at the very start. James McCarthy setting it up there for Dean Rock, and Dean Rock just scoring his 11th ever championship goal and his second of the season.
And there was a lovely pass from Niall Scully, and that little necklace as well, Ger, that's worth mentioning, opened up the defence.
First kick out then coming out from David Clark for a little while, and it's retained by Mayo. On here to Owen McLaughlin. Bounces kindly in front of Tommy Conroy. Comes here with a burgeoning reputation. Back as far as Lee Keegan. Holding on to it is Conor Loftus. Early stages in the match, but there's no hanging around. They're both going for it. Ryan O'Donoghue surrounded there by Dublin players. You can't carry it in like that and not expect to be stripped of possession, which they were. Back out it comes again to James McCarthy now, striding past his own 45-metre line. In support here is Con O'Callaghan, playing well away from that full forward position. Retained by Paddy Small. This time out to mark him is Mullen. Then across comes Stephen Cohen to try and take control of the situation, but it's still Small, does well. James McCarthy back here it comes towards Robbie McDade, man of the match in the last match, that semi-final against Cavan. Here's Kieran Kilkenny getting his hands on the ball.
His marker is Paddy Durkin as well. He's picking him up fairly tight, not leaving him alone.
Davy Byrne. John Small taking it back, giving it to Brian Fenton. Fenton now being pursued by Matthew Ruan. Earlier on it looked like it was going to be Diarmuid O'Connor who was going to be, and in the end it's Diarmuid O'Connor comes in, collides with him. Free kick to Dublin, which is taken very quickly. As far as Niall Scully. Scully looking, holding, summing up just what's on. Supported here by Robbie McDade, 27 years of age. Big breakthrough year for him, of course. Back as far as Mick Fitzsimons. Fitzsimons, who was part of the first of the winning All-Ireland teams back in 2011. Sean Bugler here now, and contact made.
It's a free and holding off the ball, and it's Kevin McLaughlin that got caught. I think it was on Con O'Callaghan. I didn't quite see who it was, but it was certainly he was involved, and referee put up his hand immediately.
Eagle-eyed refereeing there by David Coldrick. So once again it will be Dean Rock to take responsibility for this.
That's the sort of pressure, Ger, you know, that it's off the ball and you still feel that these players are so dangerous off the ball that you hold and pull.
Again, nicely taken. So another for Dean Rock. Goal and 2 points already. All of Dublin scores. So it's been a very bright opening, hasn't it? Lots to talk about in the opening 8 minutes of this. David Clark, who's 37 years of age, the other custodian. Stephen Cluxton, 39. Loads of experience, that's for sure. Dropped here by Brian Fenton. This time it's Aidan O'Shea who goes after him. And Mayo are able to carry it forward now with Kevin McLaughlin, supported here by Diarmuid O'Connor. Mayo need a really, really big performance from the younger of the O'Connor brothers. Fisted back here into the hands of Aidan O'Shea, team captain.
Playing deep.
Stephen Cohen trying to pinpoint this one. Beautiful pass inside for Ryan O'Donoghue. O'Donoghue sees the run forward here, collected by Cohen once again. Back out it comes. Killian O'Connor back into space, but that's a little bit random. Retained, however. Oisin Mullen carried on here now by Matthew Ruan. Chris Barrett who's playing his club football here in Dublin with Clontarf. Oisin Mullen again, safely back there, just retaining possession. So important that they hold on to it. Both these sides will be trying to make certain that when they have possession, they use it very prudently, and that time it's given away and won back by Dublin. And now a chance for them to carry it forward through James McCarthy. He was the one who set up that goal opportunity right at the beginning, all the way down to the goal scorer. Dean Rock trying to check inside here. Stephen Cohen keeping Rock just outside the danger area. Conor Callaghan here, and that ball's gone out of play.
Yeah, very sloppy from Matthew Ruan there. He had the possession and then just hand passed it to nobody in particular. Line ball Dublin, and they've given it straight back.
Terrible ball from Conor Callaghan, straight as far as Killian O'Connor. Fisted forward here by Kevin McLaughlin, against sloppy. That turnover results in Robbie McDade having the opportunity to set something up with Kieran Kilkenny. O'Callaghan now, chance to make amends. Bugler in as far as John Small. Chasing after him, Diarmuid O'Connor. Back to Bugler again, into the D, fancying his chances here of getting an early score in this match, and he's done really, really well. Sean Bugler, in just his 7th championship match, makes it 1-3 to 3 points.
Yeah, lovely angles, lovely hand passing, lovely finish.
From the kick out, Oisin Mullen again, all the way as far as Killian O'Connor. So much depends on him, he's in such good form. McLaughlin carried on here by Matthew Ruan. Fitzsimon's after him. Clever ball back in, really clever. Ryan O'Donoghue, again, danger of getting caught inside there. That's the 2nd time it's happened to him, and the ball won back by Johnny Cooper. 2 very good interventions in the early minutes by Cooper.
Yeah, you've mentioned it twice now, bringing the ball into the tackle in the Dublin rear guard. There's another loose.
Oh, that's a horrible ball across. Chance now for Killian O'Connor to steady himself, put his right boot through it and over the bar. 3rd point for Killian O'Connor, and it came from a mistake.
Yeah, a lot of sloppiness in the opening 10 plus minutes. A lot of unforced turnovers, I suppose we'd call them.
Davy Byrne spotting Conor Callaghan again. He's doing a lot of this, coming away as he did in the semi-final from his full forward position. Well, offensive mark taken by Kieran Kilkenny.
Well, this is the big balancing act that Mayo must be asking themselves, that Paddy Durkin goes man-to-man on Kilkenny, and he surely can do a good job, but you lose the offensive threat then.
Kilkenny lobbing it up, but he kicks it poorly, and it's the first wide of the match.
I think Mayo will be very happy, Ger, with the kick-out so far, and even on the Dublin kick-out have done quite well. That was an area for a lot of concern in the build-up.
9th final for Kieran Kilkenny, and he's never scored, as we know, so far against Mayo. Mayo are countering very quickly here. Really good football and that one is put over the bar. Nicely fisted, nicely done, and it is Conor Loftus. First point of the match for Loftus, taking the pass there beautifully in his stride and fisting it wisely over. Only 1 point in it. It's everything we had hoped it would be. Last year, of course, in the semi-final of the All-Ireland, Mayo led Dublin by 2 points at half-time after a really good opening 35 minutes. And then there was that disastrous 12 minutes in the second half when they conceded 2-6. Right now, they're battling, and Davy Byrne holds on to it. Big difference last year, I think, was that was the 7th match in 8 weeks for Mayo. This time, both these sides coming in reasonably fresh. Owen Merchant, ready to dodge around the challenge of Tommy Conroy. Nicely played to Robbie McDade, beautifully into the path there of Con O'Callaghan. Looking to try and check, gets by his man. Dangerous, really dangerous, and it comes straight off Diarmuid O'Connor. And O'Connor is pushed in the back at the end by Kieran Kilkenny, and it's a Mayo free kick.
Well, that was a goal chance. That just was not a goal chance. If that sounds like a contradiction, Con O'Callaghan was forcing the issue there, Ger, for sure. He had options to his right, but he was looking for the jugular. It was never on, really.
Got 2 goals, of course, in those 12 minutes I was mentioning in last year's semi-final, and a goal as well in the 2017 All-Ireland final, his first. Here's Aidan O'Shea. He's never scored in an All-Ireland football final. Paddy Durkin stepping away from trouble. Cohen looks up. Again, they just hold possession here. Try to bring it forward, and Dublin quite happy to get back, get their defensive structure in order. Matthew Ruan trying to breach that. He's succeeded. There's a scoring chance for him, and he underhits it. It was a tame effort in the end. There was a point on, surely.
Yeah, and he got the advantage of a poor hand pass. Johnny Cooper just corrected it for him, and he got the deflection back in, and it was a very easy enough point into the goalie's hands.
Diarmuid O'Connor battling very hard against Robbie McDade, who's finding it very awkward and uncomfortable, and in the end holds on too long, and it's a free kick to Mayo.
Big energy turnover there. That will get his colleagues well revved up. Got caught in possession, a little bit isolated. Tough call enough as well. I thought he might have been fouled.
Lee Keegan, much happier to be away from duty in the full back line. Ryan O'Donoghue again, good ball. Kevin McLaughlin. O'Donoghue was praised by his manager for his decision-making in the semi-final. That kick is a nice one. Really good play. Just his 2nd ever championship point, scored against Galway. But what about this? This is the goal chance here, which was to Con O'Callaghan, and in the end it was Diarmuid O'Connor who managed to get in the way. And this was that effort by Matthew Ruan, which was really underhit. But it finished with this score by Ryan O'Donoghue from Belmullet. Teams level.
Now the referee is having some words, or maybe he's just looking at Diarmuid O'Connor. Have to comment on Ryan O'Donoghue, who's had a really bright opening for Mayo. He's asking lots of questions off the Dublin defence, and the kick-out is still an issue. Even if the short ones Dublin can get away with, the longer ones Mayo are contesting very strongly, and that is where they need to keep their focus. It's well recovered now from the goal position, you'd have to say, and very nicely poised.
Dublin retain this kick-out, as you would expect from that little short dinked kick by Stephen Cluxton. Now a chance to make some headway. 63 clean sheets in his career with Dublin for Stephen Cluxton. And here's Merchant now, impishly carrying it forward here. Options to his left. O'Callaghan trying to turn away from the challenge. Then it's the very resolute Niall Scully, gets caught. Free kick to Dublin. Teams level for the 2nd time. That's a free kick that just works out in Dublin's favour because it was misjudged by Mayo, and Kieran Kilkenny has this opportunity maybe of making an angle for himself or someone else. Again, held on to here, Scully, all the way back as far as Robbie McDade from Ballybowden St Enda's, trying to get away from Owen McLaughlin. Yet to see McLaughlin make those forward surging runs from wing back. This time Conor Callaghan gets it, gives it out here as far as Brian Fenton, steadies himself, and it drops to the left and harmlessly wide from a Mayo point of view. Missed opportunity, 2 wides now by Dublin.
Yeah, it was obviously Fenton was going for the point, but it was a dangerous one.
So it's level at this stage as we head for the first water break. Dublin 1-3, Mayo 6 points. Colm Cooper is down pitch side. Colm, what are you making of it so far?
Well, what a start, sure. Amazing start. The Dubs catch the kick out, James McCarthy through the middle. It's the start that Mayo didn't want. First of all, it's a brilliant catch by McCarthy. He takes off, he plays a 1-2 with Niall Scully. It opens up. Scully, beautiful pass into his stride, and when you need some composure, beautiful pass, and Dean Rock is never going to miss from there. It's definitely the chance that the Dubs were looking to create. Brilliant start, but to be fair to Mayo, they came back into the game, they got the next 3 scores, superb response, and what has impressed me about Mayo is their tackling. The Dubs are getting nothing easy, they're tackling, and on the kickouts, Mayo are ultra competitive on it, so they'll be really happy with that start. All to play for, Mayo in a very good position, they'll be really happy with that.
Thanks, Colm. So far a very satisfactory position from Mayo's point of view, but it's only the first quarter, Kevin.
Yeah, but it's been a good opening quarter. I suppose the start that Mayo just would never have wanted had happened because of the brilliance of Dublin, and maybe the opportunity for Dublin to stretch it out, but the reaction from Mayo, from the underdogs, was top class, and to bring it back, I think, to level pegging at the first water break, they'd be delighted with that.
Emphasising the underdogs tag, of course, Dublin, 41 championship matches unbeaten, stretching back over 6 years. The next thing we're going to see now will be a Mayo kick out. And there was so much talk, of course, in the build-up to all of this as to how David Clarke would negotiate these kickouts. Spectacular setting in Croke Park tonight. What a shame the crowds aren't here. Please God, next year that will all change. It is what it is right now, however. So the second quarter gets underway. Booted into the middle, and that should be, but isn't Brian Fenton's, and instead it's taken away here by Conor Loftus, the 26-year-old from Crossmolina, all the way up here as far as Owen McLaughlin. Back out it comes again. Ryan O'Donoghue has had a very impressive start to the match. Busy, influential, loads of energy. Back as far as Oisin Mullen. Quick look over his shoulder. Booted across by Paddy Durkin. On as far as Tommy Conroy. Now where's the finish here? Cillian O'Connor thought about passing, deceived the Dublin back maybe. Back as far as Stephen Cohen. And they just got lucky there and managed to retain it.
And that's twice now, because Owen McLaughlin got caught on an earlier block, just too casual on it. The Dublin marking will be much crisper.
And that time it's fisted away, no nonsense stuff by Dublin. Out as far as Conor Callaghan. So many possessions for Conor Callaghan so far in this match. Under 19 minutes gone. Back here to Robbie McDade. Sean Bugler. Bugler trying to get away and succeeding in getting away from Tommy Conroy. Mick Fitzsimons, the cooler man. In here to Rock, plays it off very quickly, smartly to Niall Scully. Dublin trying to turn it on. Criss-crossing, Kieran Kilkenny. Rock again now, having a look up to see just what's on. Spotting John Small. Booted in here, up into the air. The umpires have a good look at it, but decide it has gone the wrong side of the upright for Paddy Small. So it's another wide. 3 for Dublin. Ooh, risky. Owen McLaughlin did well to hold on to that. Trying to get away now from Conor Callaghan. 2 lively young men. Kevin McLaughlin. Tearing through the centre. Aidan O'Shea, quick hands, really good work. Nicely distributed up here. Well taken. Great play by Cillian O'Connor. That advanced mark.
You're getting the reason why Conor Loftus is playing the middle position, because he brings that lovely soft skill by the boot, and he can pick out that mark pass. Well claimed. Surely the equaliser. In fact, the lead, excuse me.
It will put them in front for the first time, is it? Nicely over. So 4 points scored by Cillian O'Connor, and Mayo lead the match by 1-3 to 7 points. That was that lovely ball through, and this was a wonderful mark because he had to battle for that against Davy Byrne.
He did. He had a lot to do. I give all the praise to young Loftus, but O'Connor did claim the mark tremendously well.
It's 10 minutes now since Dublin last scored, which is a little concerning. Again, good play here by Conor Loftus. Aidan O'Shea now, team captain, operating around the middle of the field when we might have expected him to be up there supporting Cillian O'Connor. Kevin McLaughlin now across here as far as O'Connor, again using the offensive mark. Some people don't like it, but Mayo will hope to try and benefit by it in this final.
And I would be one of them. I just don't like the mark. Mayo using it to full advantage, of course, as they're entitled to do in the rule book.
And he makes full use of it. 5, then 2 in a row for Cillian O'Connor. Another one for him. So Mayo lead by 2.
Look at the pressure now that's they're exerting on the Dublin kick-out, so Stephen Cluxton has to figure a way out of it. I'm sure he will. He's been here before.
Big long one down here, but it's very well read by Oisin Mullen. And the 20-year-old has done really well in these opening minutes of the 133rd All-Ireland football final. Diarmuid O'Connor boots it in, and there's a little restraining in there. Aidan O'Shea had drifted in, but he was dragging back Davy Byrne, and the referee had spotted it. Free kick quickly taken. Comes out here as far as John Small. Pushed back by Owen McLaughlin. Brian Fenton now looking to exert a big influence in this final. You think of the key men: Fenton, Kilkenny, Con O'Callaghan. So far, Mayo largely restricting them.
They've been on the ball, Ger, but they're not making the sort of key contributions that they would expect. But they are great footballers. They won't go away. They'll keep at it.
Sean Bugler trying to make some headway near the sideline. All the way back here as far as Johnny Cooper. Up to the D. Lays it off here. James McCarthy. Back it comes to O'Callaghan again. Fisted inside here, dangerous, Scully's involved, and there's another one, and it's Con O'Callaghan who's got another goal for Dublin. His 9th ever championship goal as Mayo are carved open. Quick hands, quick movement, daring stuff by Con O'Callaghan, and he scores in the 23rd minute.
Well, he did that all on his own, essentially, even though I know Scully gave him the assist, but it was his opening. He spotted it and then dashed away from his marker and then just wallops it in with the closed fist into the net. Great goal, great goal.
Well, you heard others say before the match began that it was going to be Mayo who would require the goals, but Dublin have got 2 of them and back into the lead again. Fascinating final, certainly. Chris Barrett now. Challenged, pushed to the ground in the end, rather needlessly. Again, that ball played in there towards Ryan O'Donoghue, who's done really well to get a free kick out of that. Well, it was a probing ball there. Could have been lost very easily.
Yeah, that probing ball is about the best we can call it, because I thought it was ill-judged. Chris Barrett played a really, was it even 50-50? Thought the Dublin player got to it first, but Dave Coultrick has given the free to Mayo, and it's a big free for Cillian O'Connor.
Just got a glimpse there of Desi Farrell on the sideline, an All-Ireland winner, of course, in 1995. Cillian O'Connor has got 5 points so far in this match. It's 40 metres out. He's well capable of it. He's a man on a mission. He's got a 6th.
And another great response to the goal, it has to be said. Anything that has been asked of Mayo, they've answered it so far. As you have to say, Dublin have as well. The goals have really made the difference from a Dublin perspective. And here's the free kick again, and they have to go short. Looked like he was inside.
It did indeed.
Well, that's pressure, Ger. They are not getting a lot from the long kick out. Decided to go short, and it was just a little bit out.
10 minutes to go to half-time, and that error there is going to result in the ball being thrown up on the 20-metre line. And it'll be Aidan O'Shea against Brian Fenton, 2 big towering figures.
O'Shea wins a lot of these.
That's flipped back, and it's back in Dublin hands. Stephen Cluxton Oh, risky one again as it came out to Brian Fenton. He was caught there.
By Cillian O'Connor.
Just a word of apologies there by Cillian O'Connor as he caught Brian Fenton. Free kick the outcome anyway, and it's going to be James McCarthy who will take it.
Yeah, he can count himself lucky that he's not having a longer discussion with Dave Coldrick, because he certainly wasn't anywhere really near the ball. But he's letting them know he's in an All-Ireland final and that he's going to compete for everything.
Teams level for the third time in this final. John Small sauntering forward here. James McCarthy on his shoulder. Happy to see Sean Bugler full of energy, able to kick that ball in quickly. It was intended for Con O'Callaghan again. Con O'Callaghan with 4 championship goals against Mayo. They must hate the sight of him at this stage. Matty Ruan, Kevin McLaughlin back here as far as Lee Keegan. No slouch when it comes to getting goals himself. That's under hit by Ryan O'Donoghue, and that's the second time it's happened. And Stephen Cloxton able to get it away out as far as Davy Byrne. Byrne finding Brian Fenton. Measured build up from inside the Dublin half, all the way across as far as Scully, who made his championship debut against Mayo back in that 2017 final. Owen Merchant locating Mick Fitzsimons. Dublin stretching it now, playing it about. Kevin McLaughlin trying to put paid to that particular would-be attack by Mick Fitzsimons, but in doing so fouled the cooler player as well. Here's McDade again, looking for options right up to the edge of the D. O'Callaghan always willing, getting away from Diarmuid O'Connor onto his left and beautifully over the crossbar.
Yeah, he's causing massive problems now because he's got that lovely step, Con O'Callaghan. Look at it there, he's taking him outside, and he's got both feet as well. It doesn't particularly matter. Great score for Dublin.
Goal and a point by Con O'Callaghan. What a lovely turn. Fleet-footed, lovely style, so smooth and effective. Mayo now trying to counter themselves. Dublin pursuing them vigorously, however. Pressure on Chris Barrett. Looking up to see just where Stephen Cohen was. 2-4 for Dublin, that's 10 points. Mayo 9. Dublin by the minimum. Oisin Mullen trying to get away from Brian Fenton. Then change of direction. 2 men after him, nicely inside to Ryan O'Donoghue, picking out Tommy Conroy, yet to score in this final. Did really well against Tipperary, also well against Galway in the Connacht final. Wisely decide to play it back here to Matty Ruan rather than just try a risky one and lose possession. Aidan O'Shea fisted in here. Kevin McLaughlin trying to get away from Fitzsimons, who caught him. Free into Mayo, chance to level the match.
I think there was an advantage to be played there, but Dave Coley just went to his whistle a little early because Aidan O'Shea had taken that pop off Kevin McLaughlin, was making tracks towards the Dublin goal, but they'll take the free in lieu. So he has a 5-second advantage. He can play there and then bring the play back, and he doesn't bother with it this time. And that can happen sometimes. The referee just blows a little bit early. He wants to give the free for the infraction.
Cillian O'Connor, 6 points already today. That makes it 42 points in All-Ireland finals in all. 35 metres or thereabouts from his target. Nice follow through, but he's misjudged this one. It's only Mayo's first wide. Comes after nearly half an hour. Remember in the semi-final against Tipperary, they went until 59 minutes before they had a wide in that game. So Dublin by 1 still. This kick out all the way down. Scully let it run over his head and then goes chasing after it. Diarmuid O'Connor trying to get ahead of Scully, bending his back, getting this one under control. Scully then comes in and fouls him. A lot of good work there by Diarmuid O'Connor to ensure that Mayo would have the advantage. Kevin McLaughlin, Lee Keegan, former Footballer of the Year. 2 men into challenge, missed completely by James McCarthy. Keegan looks to his left. O'Donoghue dodges past one, gets by the second, kicks it under pressure and kicks it over the bar. And the teams are level for the 4th time, and that's the 2nd point in this final in his 5th championship match by Ryan O'Donoghue.
Now that's an inspirational score because he took the ball on with a lot of dubs in defence and confronting him, and he still found a way to get through it. Big dash by Lee Keegan as well. Good to see that from a Mayo perspective. Dublin will be a bit disappointed with the tackling.
Oh, that was very fortunate. It went under the legs of Mick Fitzsimons, but retained here by a Dublin player, Owen Merchant. Not the ultra-smooth Dublin performance that you have always expected, but this man has made a difference. Con O'Callaghan, certainly that second goal of his, hugely important. Paddy Small to his older brother John. Good work here. What a good shot that was, rising up and over the bar. But a fine point by John Small. It might even have been in for a goal there.
Yeah, drives it over the bar, but a lovely step jar to avoid his marker. Really clever play from Small.
The two Smalls, of course, playing for Ballymon Kickham's. Dublin champions just a matter of a couple of months ago. Owen McLaughlin. Here's Conor Loftus. Matty Ruan then seeing a little gap, going on a solo. Gives it to Cillian O'Connor. Mullen looks to his left. Has a couple of options over there. Diarmuid O'Connor, highly industrious. Paddy Durkin. Stephen Cohen now. Outside waiting. Tommy Conroy up to the 20-metre line. Took a step or two too many, however. Inexperience there. Very obvious free kick to Dublin. Promising situation for Mayo comes to naught. 3 minutes to go to half-time.
Yeah, Tommy Conroy just not quite got into the pitch of it yet. Earlier on, he almost did a double hop over in that same corner, so the rhythm that he'd be searching for a wanting just hasn't arrived yet, and Dublin tidy up another turnover.
Johnny Cooper from Na Fianna. Huge day for the Na Fianna club, of course. Here's another member of the club, Owen Merchant, and of course Desi Farrell, also a Na Fianna man, and our GAA president John Horan. Nad Scully. Kieran Kilkenny yet to score. Chance to put that right here, but I think he's dragged it the wrong side of the upright. He has, and it's a fourth wide against Dublin.
Isn't it amazing how certain games have the Indian sign on you, Jared? That's, you know, they're playing Mayo. I think he's playing Mayo for his 5th time, and I read where he has yet to score against them in those championship matches. Amazing.
Well, he got 4 points in last year's replayed final against Kerry. Mayo know only too well what he's capable of. Here's Lee Keegan. 2-3 himself in finals, Keegan. Nicely forward, taking up the full forward position now. Ryan O'Donoghue laid off here as far as another young player. Conroy, was going left. Cluxton decides to begin the counter-offensive. James McCarthy. Plenty of space now, which to manoeuvre. Looking up and booting it down towards Small. That's Paddy Small, let it run from his grasp. Durkin got in quickly. That was Conor Loftus as he was about to try and pick that up. In came the boot of John Small. Free kick to Mayo. Oh, that's badly given away. Straight to Johnny Cooper. Just needed a case of taking a few extra seconds and being sure about it. Instead, Mayo retreat and Dublin come forward. And it's Scully booted into the corner here. Down towards Kieran Kilkenny. Up against Oisin Mullen. Kilkenny just wisely now holding on. Having a go again, and this one looks good, and this one is over the crossbar. And he's got his score. Couple of tries by him. Took on the responsibility and made it count. 1 additional minute will be played, but Dublin lead by 2. Matty Ruan now. Coming forward, looking to see just what's on here as Kevin McLaughlin came across, and as he was doing so, Johnny Cooper got into his back, fouled him. Free kick quickly taken in side towards Aidan O'Shea. Turned around from Davy Byrne. Aidan O'Shea looking to try and get a score here, and almost losing it, and in fact he has now lost it. Overly ambitious, lacking in support, and Dublin are able to bring that ball down through Sean Bugler. Into stoppage time. Niall Scully trying to get away from Owen McLaughlin, who reached in, caught him, concedes the free kick. Dublin 2 points to the good. Paddy Small now, bounced kindly for him. Able to turn. 3 Mayo players around it, but nobody able to get close enough to put in a challenge. Sean Bugler, challenged that time by Conroy. Back to John Small. There's a huge gap inside there, Robbie McDade. And as that was coming through, the referee's whistle sounds, and it's got to be a free out. Foul there on McLaughlin.
There's the last attack.
This is Aidan O'Shea here.
Yeah,
he
certainly
was bouncing and trying to get it under control, but never quite got it there to the extent that one would expect.
Yeah, he wasn't, that last replay we had a look at, Aidan O'Shea wasn't happy at all with Dave Coldrick. And he certainly did look like he was held back, and Coldrick is now having a chat with Dublin 7, Robbie McDade.
And he's got the black book, so for the first 10 minutes of the second half, Dublin will be playing with 14 players. Since the water break, Dublin have scored 1-3, Mayo have scored 4 points. So now, heading into the break at half-time, James Horan and his selectors are able to concoct some plan for the beginning of the second half, knowing they will have a numerical advantage. And there goes the half-time whistle. Dublin go in leading. They took the lead after about 13 seconds to Dean Rock. A really fast goal. They got another after 23 minutes by Con O'Callaghan. Cillian O'Connor has got 6 points for Mayo. At half-time, it's Dublin by 2. Dublin 2-6. Mayo 10 points. Changes, as you're mentioning, for Dublin. Brian Howard on in place of Sean Bugler, and Michael Plunkett's come in, I think, in place of Paddy Durkin.
Yeah, that's correct, sure.
Beginning of the second half, Dublin down to 14 for the first 10 minutes because of the black card. How did you find that black card? What do you make of it?
Well, there's 2 aspects to the black card. Remember always that if he collides, okay, deliberate is the first one, but for the purpose of taking someone out of movement of play, and that's what it did look like to me, I have to say. And the balance falls against the Dublin player this time.
Scully taking that free kick for the foul there on Brian Howard. Kieran Kilkenny. This is the part of the game which, as Joanne was mentioning, where Mayo fell foul of Dublin in the 2019 All-Ireland semi-final. They got 12 points in 12 minutes, or 2 goals and 6 points in that portion of the game. And it absolutely shattered Mayo on that occasion.
It's Plunkett that's gone in to do that sweeper role that Oisin was talking about at half-time, and he's staying there very steady.
Well, in 8.5 championship matches now between these teams, dating back to the All-Ireland back in 2012, it's goals that basically have been killing Mayo. With the 2 conceded today, it means they've conceded 16 goals over those 8.5 matches. By comparison, Mayo have only scored 6 themselves. Michael Fitzsimons back as far as Cooper again. Trying to get away here this time from Conor Loftus. Just reached in. Caught the Dublin number 4.
And they're going back the way, no rush whatsoever, because obviously they're down a man and they'll try and stretch out these possessions for as long as possible.
And that's exactly what they are doing here. Brian Howard, what a player to be able to bring on. A player who's an all-star in the last 2 years. James McCarthy had an outstanding first half. Fenton a bit subdued. A lot of time left for him. Retained here by Dublin. Scully having to scurry across. Kieran Kilkenny, a point scorer during that first half. McCarthy. Challenge this time is over-aggressive on the part of Aidan O'Shea. Shake at the head, but they can't afford to get frustrated. Aggression needs to be tempered.
It's a foul, no question.
Kilkenny again. Losing his man. Dangerous situation. O'Callaghan very nearly coming in as he did last year. Surrounded this time by Mayo players. And they win back possession, and it's Matty Ruan who has it. It's going to be interesting to see how Michael Plunkett now works in that pivotal position there, trying to seal that gap that's right in the middle. That's Plunkett. As far as Ryan O'Donoghue had a very impressive first 35 minutes. Down to the main man, Cillian O'Connor, setting it up here. Loftus under pressure, never got control of that one. Just the second wide.
Well, let's go back for a second to the Conor Callan chance up the other end of the field. I can tell you, if his first touch had held Ger, he was in on goal again. A lovely backdoor cut and a lovely pass from Kieran Kilkenny. They're doing it all season, but it's so hard to stop. But O'Callaghan just had a bad first touch, and the ball fell away from him in the tackle then afterwards.
Cooper back here as far as Brian Fenton. Owen Merchant all the way safely back to Brian Howard. It's been a frustrating time for him, used as a substitute in each and every match so far, but he's here in the All-Ireland final, now watching John Small advance, give it off as far as Scully, up into the air, and it lands perfectly over the crossbar. Point for Niall Scully. Good start to the second half for the 14 men, and they'll be at 14 men for another 6 minutes. Chris Barrett, Ruan, Lee Keegan. Chance now for Stephen Cohen to have a little look up and see what's ahead of him. Not with Conor Loftus, not making any headway. Having the extra man, not really using it, and we're well into the 5th minute of that penalty time, as it were, for Dublin to be without one of their players. Cillian O'Connor. Diarmuid O'Connor inside, losing his way, but it runs on towards Aidan O'Shea, and O'Shea is caught from behind by Michael Fitzsimons, who pleads that O'Shea went down somewhat dramatically.
Well, the bounce, the look of the draw here, because he's lost control, Diarmuid O'Connor, and just flicks off Mick Fitzsimons into Aidan O'Shea. He does go down a little easy, and that's what I think Brian Howard is having a little chat with him about. But the free is awarded. Dave Coulter went straight to the whistle, and I think I said earlier for Dean Rocky, give me, well, this is equally right in front. This won't be missed.
So Ballintover's Cillian O'Connor, playing in his 59th ever championship match, has this one to eat into the Dublin lead and make it a 2-point game once again, as you were at half-time. 7 for the day for him so far. James Horan, his 3rd ever All-Ireland final as manager. Lost in 2012, lost in 2013 to Dublin. And there is Robbie McDade up in the stand at this stage. He'll be rejoining the action in just over 4 minutes, as that is kicked in well as far as Kieran Kilkenny. Gives it off quickly to Fenton. Fenton moving forward menacingly. O'Connor can't get to him, and Fenton's able to pirouette beautifully and knock it over the bar. Really clever point by Brian Fenton, very much his own work. Stole away from Diarmuid O'Connor and then had the chance to turn and to kick and to score.
And not an easy score he got here, because he's standing up when he kicks that ball over the bar. A lot of skill and technique required, and he's the equal of it.
Dublin with their 2 goals and 8 points. Mayo haven't really threatened a goal at the other end against Stephen Cloughton so far. Tommy Conroy looking ahead now to see just what's in there, having to do some of it himself and then turn it back here towards Aidan O'Shea, because there was nobody inside in a full forward position to take a pass from him. Kevin McLaughlin back to Loftus, over here as far as Diarmuid O'Connor. Nice movement ahead by Stephen Cohen, took the offensive mark. Chance for him now to get his first point in this final.
And not a noted attacker, obviously. This would be a big bonus.
Cut across it. Has he got it? He has.
Super.
It's a really good kick.
Well, he was under a lot of pressure on that. A defender obviously in a very advanced position, and then he elects to go for the slicer from the tight angle, and he gets the execution perfect. So top marks to Stephen Cohen.
2-8 to 12 points, 14 points to 12. Into the middle of the park, well claimed, brilliant work there by a dominant Brian Fenton, playing at the height of his powers, all the way in there beyond Kilkenny. Easy one for Oisin Mullen to take. Thought about giving it to David Clark. Almost intercepted. That was a bit slack. Very, very risky, and they got away with it. Carried on here now by Matthew Ruan. Oisin Mullen. Still Mullen. Mayo have lost so many All-Ireland finals. They don't want to lose another one here. And this is the man who's hoping to try and take the trophy at the end of it all. Aidan O'Shea hauled down. He's pleading to the referee.
This is black card territory too, depending on how it's interpreted.
Well, the notebook is out, and Johnny Cooper is fearing the sanction.
No,
Name goes in the book.
I'd imagine Aidan O'Shea is involved as well. He may have been holding. It might be just a tick.
Yeah, it is just a tick. Well, a pull back has been the decision by the referee there.
Yeah. Pull back, a pull down, but I imagine when we see the replay, Aidan O'Shea is fighting his own corner as well, and it might be a 50-50. In fairness, Johnny Cooper got a tough call against him last year. This one, it's fallen nicely for him.
This one to reduce the arrears to just a point, and once again the ever-dependable Cillian O'Connor. Here it is once again here.
Well, he does great to win it in the first instance. Now look at his left hand. No, I think the referee's got that one right, Ger, I have to say. They're
so just a ticking, no name taken.
You could hardly call that a deliberate pull down. I think it's just two men going at it fairly strong.
Cluxton goes very, very long into the middle, but that time it's Fenton who couldn't take it. There were three against him, and now it's Matty Ruan. Mayo a point behind. Michael Plunkett, Cillian O'Connor. They hold on to it with Conor Loftus here. Looking to see just what's on. Movement by Conroy here. Well taken. Tommy Conroy darting forward up to a certain point, then in an impossible position angle-wise. Gave it back to Kevin McLaughlin. Against Cooper. Back here once again, this time to Keegan. Aidan O'Shea. Good throw of the shoulders. Ooh, that was a crunching challenge that time by Michael Fitzsimons, and the referee says perfectly fairly executed. Down went the Mayo player. Certainly felt the effects of that. Mayo putting the pressure on, but calmly taken out by Brian Fenton, and the referee.
I think it's Oisin Mullen, and he got the full force of Mick Fitzsimons. We'll just see it here. No, it's not. It's Lee Keegan.
It's Lee Keegan. Now, was it absolutely shoulder to shoulder?
Oh, not a chance. That's frontal. There's no doubt about that. He has a good
and the referee is right on the spot, isn't he? Had a good angle on that.
Well, that was a big hit.
You could almost hear the shudder that time, couldn't you? Running repairs then. Dublin now should be back to 15 players. 10 minutes is up, and there is Robbie McDade, still part of the action. Man who got a goal and two against Cavan. Man of the match again that afternoon, that evening, here in the All-Ireland semi-final.
Well, Lee Keegan's a tough warrior, but he shook to the gun, there's no doubt about that. Not the greatest pass of all time. It did walk him into the tackle, if you like, but my sense is that wasn't a tackle, that was a foul. It was pretty frontal, but these things happen in split seconds. Referee in a great position, Ger, and he says no, play on, and he made that decision very, very quickly, but you can see that Lee Keegan is shook.
My sense also, Kevin, is that this final is there for the taking for both of these teams.
Well, of course it is. 14-13, and 25 minutes probably and more left yet on the clock. So who wants it the most? Mayo have put themselves into a very decent position. Dublin naturally have themselves in a very good position as well, so a lot to be played for yet.
Mayo putting on a bit of a press, but it's broken easily here by Owen Merchant. Fleet-footed away, right up to the opposing 65-metre line. Robbie McDade happy to be back in the action again. Brian Fenton looking to set up the next score for Dublin. Dublin looking to win 6 All-Ireland titles in a row. Mayo looking to win it for the first time in 69 years. Dermot O'Connor. O'Connor, who put in a really mighty effort during the opening 35 minutes. Likewise, Oisin Mullen. back as far as Matty Ruan. Change of direction, dodging past the second player, caught by Scully, gives it to Conor Loftus. Dublin trying to force Mayo back towards the middle of the park where they can't do very much damage. Chris Barrett, as I mentioned, plays in Dublin with the Clontarf club. Aidan O'Shea. Now maybe there's a gap. In as far as Cillian O'Connor. Back as far as the recovered Lee Keegan. Pursued there by Kieran Kilkenny. Back to Keegan again. Johnny Cooper tries to get the hand in and gets a hand in all right, but fouls his man. Cooper says, me?
Well, that's his second.
And Mayo are about to make a change in just a moment as we watch this again in reprise. James Carr is coming on. Player going off will be Tommy Conroy, and there's a yellow card for Johnny Cooper for that. It's a case of persistent fouling.
Yeah, he ticked him earlier, and tough day for Tommy Conroy. Very impressed with him this season. You know that, Gerard. I said it to you a few times, and his day will come again. Just wasn't his day today. Here's O'Connor.
An important kick by Cillian O'Connor. They all are, and the man on the right-hand side goes for the wave, the white flag. The teams are level for the 5th time, and he has got a 9th point in this match. This is that last foul there by Johnny Cooper on Lee Keegan, and the referee deciding that there have been too many fouls at this stage. Card issued. From the kick out, Dublin look to go about their business again now, this time with James McCarthy looking to try and set up a lead score once more. Scully dragged back. Free kick to Dublin.
Gerard, that was O'Callaghan again at midfield. He is having a huge influence on what Dublin are doing. It was O'Callaghan that won that kick out and got it away, and eventually gets into Scully for the free. But it's the quick reply, because O'Callaghan he's just across everything at the minute. He's having a tremendous game.
24 coming on is Paul Mannion, and Dublin fans will be delighted to see him come on. Paddy Small, his afternoon is finished. Free kick coming up for Dean Rock, a goal and 2 points in the first half. The goal coming so early, 13 seconds, fastest ever goal in an All-Ireland final, beating Gary McMahon, who got his goal in 1962 after some, I think it was 34 seconds. Dean Rock measures that beautifully, another for him, and so Dublin back into the lead again.
And we haven't heard from Dean Rock for a while, and then he gets a pressure-free Ger, and look what he does. Just the composure, the mental strength to get that ball between the posts.
Real scramble for possession here. Cillian O'Connor went in, so too did Cooper, and Dublin have it, and it's John Small running into a cul-de-sac, giving it off there as far as Brian Howard, all the way across to Robbie McDade, kicking it forward. Kilkenny going for it. After him goes Stephen Cohen, summing up just what's on, able to give it back here. Rock kicking it all the way back to Brian Howard again. Nothing rushed, nothing hurried. They've been through this so many times over the years. Past masters. Fitzsimons chasing after him is Carr, one of the Mayo substitutes, held onto by Davy Byrne. Always calmly efficient, that time does well to retain possession. How often have we seen Dublin do this? Frustrate the opposition, spread the play, just make absolutely sure that possession is not given away stupidly. Still only a 1-point game, however, and we'll be heading up towards the water break very, very shortly, probably when this passage of play has ended. McDade. Scully, little tug on him there, but the referee says play on. Scully almost lost it, he has lost it, and it's turned over. Cardinal offence in an All-Ireland final. McLaughlin, and McLaughlin has done exactly the same thing, but this time there's a contact foul. John Small feeling the effects of that.
James Carr it was that got him a little bit late.
This is what happened here, and it was indeed number 25 James Carr who made the contact. Well, I imagine we're going to be heading for the water break very, very soon. Dublin making a change, and coming into the action is Colin Pascal. Player going off is Johnny Cooper.
And he was on yellow, and the way Johnny operates in the full back line, I think they might have been getting a bit anxious about another one, and that seems to be the call. Certainly Pascal is into the action.
Both managers not afraid to make those brave calls, those important calls that can determine who will get their hands on the Sam Maguire Cup maybe before 6:30 this evening. There has to be a resolution today, of course. No replays, and so little between them. 2-9, 15 points to 14 points. Davy Byrne is down here on the near the sideline. The linesman has got his flag raised. Linesman on this near side is Sean Herson from Tyrone.
They're calling in Johnny Cooper now. He's obviously injured as well.
Well, he doesn't look in the best of conditions as he limps off away off camera. There he is.
Well, he's willing,
battle hardened, isn't he?
He was willing to go on, and
not the kind of player you'd want to lose, is he?
Oh no. Cooper's a serious defender. Cooper's a serious defender. You know he won't bend or buckle in that full back line, and he plays a game that's right on the edge, of course, and that commends itself too. There's a place for that in the final, but he's out of the action now. I think it is a large part of the decision is the yellow, even though he's hobbling significantly now.
Brian Fenton with this free kick. We still haven't hit the second of the water breaks. Now what will Dublin do with this? Up towards Kilkenny, he goes to ground. In comes Paul Mannion, first intervention, and Paul Mannion has dragged it the wrong side of the upright. Missed the opportunity, and the water break has been called here. There is so little between them. It's Dublin 2-9, 15 points to Mayo's 14, and that cup, well, who will be taking it home? Will it be heading west for the first time in yonks, or will it be staying in the capital? Well, down by the sideline we've got Colin Cooper, who's been keeping an eye on what he's seen. What did you make of that third quarter, Colin?
What a game we have in our hands, Ger. It was a bit of a cagey start to the second half, but Mayo will be really, really happy. They're right there, 15 minutes to go. They're tipping away their scores. Could have got another free. Johnny Cooper hit Johnny Cooper, or was it Michael Fitzsimons who hit a big shoulder on Lee Keegan there? You could even hit the whack here in the stand. So look, it's all there for Mayo. They put themselves in a great position. A goal could be a big game. That's my worry. Dublin seemed to be one pass away. Conor Gallen had a great chance. He dropped the ball. So look, it's right there, Ger. It's game on.
Look at the scores column. I mean, they've got Dublin have got 11 scores so far, but 2 of them critically have been goals.
Well, one other point, and the goals, of course, are crucial. I won't say by any means keeping Dublin in it, because Dublin have been well to the fore for large patches of the game. But can I make this point, Ger, while we're just coming out of the water break? And I've made it earlier in the season, and something that well, you never know how these things pan out. The second water break is called again on a Mayo kick-out. That's 2 Mayo kick-outs onto the water break in the first half and the second half. And you know the opposition team have a full minute now to reset and refocus on that kick-out. So it'll be really interesting to see how the Mayo kick-out goes out on this one, because all the advantages obviously are to the opposition when they have a minute or so to get ready for it. It's something I never liked about this water break rule. It'll be interesting to follow.
Quarter of an hour to go. Brian Howard playing his part in the second half. Change has been made by Desi Farrell. First year in charge, wants to continue the great run under Jim Gavin. Ready for the kick out, which will be taken by David Clark. Clark having a look around now to see where he should place this one. Boots it as long as he can. Across came John Small. Winning it, however, is Diarmuid O'Connor. And as you suggested, Kevin, from their own kick-out following the water break, they are now able to start the next attack.
Well, they did very well to win it, because the odds are stacked against them. And of course, Mayo have done very well on the long kick-out. We'll get the final numbers at the end, but I know by my half-time stats and just keeping an eye on it here, they've done particularly well on the long kick-out.
Dublin hoping to pin them back there, but that is broken, and Michael Plunkett places it beautifully down here into James Carr. Beautiful run here by McLaughlin. That's Owen McLaughlin. Ran out of space, however. Look where Con O'Callaghan is, back in his own full back line, giving it out as far as Colm Basquel. Back to Small. Dragged down this time by Conor Loftus. Free kick for Dublin.
Not a big chance for Owen McLaughlin. He just took it at too much pace. He needs to slow down so he can get the hand pass over the bar. Is there another pass he can give? I think there was a slip. The ball slid away from him as well. But as you said, Con O'Callaghan back there tidying up, doing lovely defensive duties.
Fenton taking this free kick in as far as his clubmate at Raheny Brian Howard. Howard trying to break the press. Intense challenging this time. In came Ryan O'Donoghue, referee very close to it, seeing it all so far up to that point there as legitimate challenging, but then Davy Byrne was fouled. Dublin with another free kick. Real scrap at this stage, isn't it?
And it's anybody's game. It's only the single point in it, and both teams are going to have to play a lot of football yet to come away with the cup.
As I mentioned at the beginning, in 3 of Dublin's 5 wins over Mayo, they won by just a point. James McCarthy down into the corner to Kieran Kilkenny, operating at full forward against Stephen Cohen, kicking this one and kicking it over the bar. Beautifully done by Kieran Kilkenny. A point in each half for him, and Dublin extend their lead ahead by 2.
Important point by Kilkenny. He did great. He fronted his man, got back onto his right, and of course we know he's so accurate. Hasn't always been against Mayo, but he's got a sight of the goal now. As you say, 1 in each half. Right, O'Donoghue just gone out of the game. He had a real good shot at this final.
He certainly did. Had a really good first half. Darren Cohen in. He got 2 points when he came on against Tipperary. They need scores from him. Matty Ruan running into challenges, trying to slip away here. Basquel's going after him. A man whose dad comes from Mayo, in as far as Darren Cohen. First touch of the ball. Lee Keegan now holding it up for Owen McLaughlin. Hasn't ever scored in a championship match. Diarmuid O'Connor certainly has, but not today so far. Back out, and that's sloppy, and it's got out over the line. The linesman has decided. Sloppy play by Mayo. Can't afford to be turning the ball over like that.
Not at this stage of the game where every possession is doubly important, if there's such a thing.
Back it comes into the hands of John Small again. And Small caught this time by Cillian O'Connor, or rather it's not Small, it's Niall Scully, and he didn't like that challenge one little bit by Cillian O'Connor.
Well, in his defence, it's open hand, it's not a fist tackle, and a lot of that tackle was on the ball, so fair play is good sport. I don't think he's as bad as he's indicating there, but they will take the chance of the breather, get reorganised. 2 point lead now is a very nice lead to have with 10 minutes left on the clock.
James Foran must be wondering, is it going to be another one of those days for Mayo? Far too many of them. Desi Farrell. 11 perhaps minutes and a few more with stoppage time added on, away from an All-Ireland victory. Or will it be? Mannion looking at the target. Back it comes here to McDade. Kieran Kilkenny confronted by Michael Plunkett, nicely in there. Basquel challenged. Matty Ruan just forcing him out where he can't do an awful lot of damage, but Dublin can still retain the possession through Owen Merchant. Brian Fenton straight through the centre, blocked, so gives it off to Howard, able to take a return. Now going for it. That looks good. That is a beauty. Brian Howard underlines the value that he gives to Dublin, coming off the bench at half-time, showing his true class and putting 3 between them.
Yeah, it's a terrific score by Howard. Comes across the ball again, one of those difficult shots to do, but does it beautifully.
And that kick out has put Mayo in trouble again. It's 10 minutes since they've scored, and they've yet to score from play in the second half.
Well, John Small is brilliant on that Mayo kick out, because it's him that breaks it away from a bigger man even than himself in Aidan O'Shea. And a little bit of tiredness creeping into it because it followed up then with the foul. That's a difficult one for Mannion. He is the kit dog, of course, and this is his good side, but you remember he had a hook shot there earlier on when he came on, put it wide on the near side, and his last play he didn't get it off. So this is a big kick.
Let's see how he manages it. Paul Mannion making a little bit of an angle for himself, and he has judged it absolutely perfectly. Playing in his 43rd ever championship match.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous
Point
kick.
by Mannion.
Now the stretch it in an instant almost, Ger. We were talking a 1 point game, went to 2, now it's up to 4. And see how quickly they're stretching it, making all these possessions count, whereas Mayo have turned over a few cheap ones.
Jordan Flynn comes into midfield in place of Conor Loftus. They need some energy. They are running out of time. Well caught again by Brian Howard. You know, for a man who comes on at half-time, he's almost in the man of the match type category already, because he's in there and he's doing the business for Dublin brilliantly. Paul Mannion. What substitutes to be able to bring on for Dessie Farrell's team. Into Kieran Kilkenny, escaping the clutches initially of one challenge and then caught by Stephen Cohen and dragged back, and that's a very simple decision for the referee to give. Another point for Dublin coming up, you would imagine.
Yeah, it has to be. You have to favour Mannion and the confidence he'll have taken from the more difficult angle. Oh, Dean Rock actually is going to fancy it himself. He's good at these Rock too, going from right to left.
A goal and 3 so far, which is the same score he got against Mayo when they met on the league back in February in Castlebar. And he splits the posts in his usual fashion. No fuss, always successful, and now suddenly 5 between them.
Yeah, well, you've moved into the territory now where you're saying Mayo need a goal.
And they haven't looked like giving us a goal in the match so far. Kevin McLaughlin. Needing to attack maybe with a little bit more pace and a bit more variety. Darren Cohen. In here as far as his cousin Stephen, taking it back and hitting it on the run, and that's one back. Darren Cohen. Good introduction by Cohen. The cousins combining here and nicely over. It's back to 4.
Did all the hard work himself, and Hollyman Carrymorman, they have the little understanding obviously, but takes it nicely on his left. Nice in ball, followed it in and then banged it over.
Cluxton kicking out towards the wings this time. What a take. Again, it's Brian Fenton.
Fabulous.
Absolutely superb. Into Kilkenny, bounces kindly for him, gives it off smartly. Con O'Callaghan setting up Scully. Difficult one for O'Callaghan to take, even under pressure. Retains it superbly for Dublin with the help of Paul Mannion. Point scorer already. Back as far as John Small. Dublin now in all their glory. 4 points ahead. 6 minutes to go. Looking to make it 6 in a row. Fitzsimons. Again, Fenton. He's been superb in the second half. Back. Fed in judiciously. In there as far as Colin Pascal. Trying to get away from his marker is Michael Plunkett. Back out as far as Dean Rock. Now almost toying with Mayo. Just retaining possession. Playing it around in business-like fashion. Meticulous in the way in which they place their passes. Nothing sloppy. John Small. Scully. Ooh, that's not so meticulous. Oh. And they get away with it before Darren Cohen could intervene.
Yeah, he really had to make that ball. It was coming across, had the perfect line on it. It looked like it was bouncing into his hands and didn't control it. And now Dublin have another big possession. The clock is their friend now, obviously, Ger.
5 minutes to go. It's been robbed back, taken by Lee Keegan. Good play by Keegan. Now they need to get it forward quickly. But there's a press on by Dublin. Broken up here by Chris Barrett. Out as far as McLaughlin. Needs to move as a man on his right-hand side. Looks left. Retained here by Darren Cohen. And that's not the best effort he's ever put in. Back out as far as Robbie McDade.
It's not even the effort, that's just a poor decision. That wasn't the ball to play. He had to develop it.
Paul Mannion waiting for the runners to come. John Small challenged there by Owen McLaughlin. Happy to have Mannion there in support again. Scully. Mick Fitzsimons. Just slowed down a little bit by Brian Howard. Just rebooting the move, and it's still Dublin. Howard back there, just orchestrating matters in the company of Owen Merchant. Mayo trying to pick players up. Dublin still looking so composed, so confident, and it's Davy Byrne this time who takes off. He's fast. They're trying to catch up with him. James Carr is no slouch either. Really good work there by Byrne. All the way as far as Kieran Kilkenny, steadying himself to kick this one. Has he got it? The man with the white coat goes for the white flag, and Kieran Kilkenny has got a third point.
Well, he might have started slowly. I've made that point a few times, but God, is he finishing strong. And the funny thing is, once he gets his way away from his man, you just know he's not going to miss from that position. Really, really good stuff.
It's very definitely advantage Dublin with 3 minutes to go of the 70. Mayo still have a chance. Lee Keegan, as far as Matty Ruan. A goal is required. Stephen Cohen. Booted in here long towards Aidan O'Shea. Needs to win this one. He's got it. McDade against him. Merchant against him. It's still O'Shea, but having to go back and out and away from the goal. Back here it comes as far as James Carr, and Carr drops it into the hands of Stephen Clogston.
Well, for the third or fourth time, and maybe even the fifth time in this game, another ball gone into the goalie's hands, and that just won't get the job done as you come down the final few minutes. No goals conceded, Ger, by Dublin in the championship, and very hard to see how they're going to do one now.
Clogston hasn't conceded a goal for 6 championship matches. It was Killian Spillane last year in the drawn All-Ireland final, the last player to beat him. All the way across as far as Scully. Back to James McCarthy. Fenton, relentless. Scully, great engine. Back out as far as Conor Callaghan, scorer of a goal and a point in the first half. Fed into Kilkenny, looking to try and finish off Mayo here. Referee allows the play to continue. Didn't see any foul, there wasn't any. And it comes from Stephen Cohen back out as far as Killian O'Connor. Only 2 players up inside the Dublin 45 wearing Mayo's shirts, however. So it has to be carried by Matty Ruan. We're in the 69th minute. Darren Cohen. Looking to try and finish here now, and he's put that one wide, and the last 3 efforts have been very poor. 3 very poor wides or misses into the goalkeeper's hands in the last 3 Mayo attacks.
Yeah, and Aidan O'Shea has been, he was isolated early in the move, and he was double teamed later on in the move, but in a day that Mayo need a goal and you're shooting from points from difficult angles is not the best play.
There's going to be 5 minutes of additional time, I've been told, which means there's the best part of 6 minutes still to go. Cormac Costello's about to come on, and Mayo will remember him from 2016 replay when he came on and got 3 points. James McCarthy. Brian Fenton. Never lets the side down, Fenton. Scully. Busy, always involved. Fenton giving the direction. Holding on now. Scully retains it, and then that challenge by Diarmuid O'Connor is going to be penalised. A rueful shake of the head.
Yeah, he's come late to it. He committed fully to it because he saw the sloppy pass, but it is late and it is rough. And I've no doubt it'll be dealt with a yellow.
So Cormac Costello has come on, and there's a yellow card, as you can see, for Diarmuid O'Connor. Costello came on against Laois, I remember, in the Leinster semi-final this year, and he scored 7 points. You remember that?
Yeah, marvellous stuff. Marvellous stuff.
5 between them.
Well, this break and play is really not what Mayo would have wanted. But it was a foul.
James Durkin. Twin brother of Paddy, who was taken off earlier on, and he's come on in place of Owen McLaughlin. Scully going off. There was a time in this match when Mayo really had every opportunity of winning it,
as they've had in other games. But Jerry, you have to just really admire the way Dublin take those hits, take those big moments, and then turn them around, and then carve out the 1 point, the 2 point, the 3, moving on up to 5 or 6, and then they can see out the game pretty comfortably. And they're in that position now. We're well into injury time, probably 4.5 or something like that left on the clock. So it's going to take something massive now.
Brian Howard taking that free kick. First touch for Cormac Costello from Whitehall, Cullen-Kills. James McCarthy down into the corner it comes. Con O'Callaghan. Costello again. They don't need to do anything spectacular at this stage, just make sure that Mayo don't get openings. Minimise the errors now is the message, I'm sure, to all of the Dublin players. Brian Howard again. What a lovely pass as far as Davy Byrne, once again on his bike. Beautiful hand pass forward. John Small tracked the whole time by Cillian O'Connor. No foul, the referee has decided. Cillian has it, plays it back out as far as Lee Keegan. Well, a goal for Mayo would give us an interesting last couple of minutes, but are they capable of it? Matty Ruan. In here as far as Jordan Flynn. Big, huge one in towards Aidan O'Shea, trying to link up there as he was, but again, Dublin have the numbers back. Everybody playing for one another. It's a great team effort. Fitzsimons was coming out, challenged strongly that time. And the referee signals that it's going to be another free kick. Brian Howard on his hands and knees, Diarmuid O'Connor picking himself up.
Well, didn't Fitzsimons do incredibly well on that last play? I think there was a mishandle somewhere in around, and I counted 4 Mayo lads went in after him, and Fitzsimons somehow got a toe to it and got it back out to Dublin advantage.
Philly McMahon waiting to come on. He'll be one of those winning an 8th All-Ireland medal. A group of players like Cloxton, Fitzsimons himself, James McCarthy, Philly McMahon coming on. Players who will be joining some of the real greats of Gaelic football, the likes of Pat Spillane, Dennis Ogie-Moran, Mikey Sheehy, Ger Power and the late Paddy O'Shea, all of them with 8 All-Ireland medals. That is some achievement, with 90 seconds of the 2020 All-Ireland football final still to go. Kilkenny way back there, as ever helping out. His 9th final today. Cloxton largely unchallenged. Fitzsimons steadily working that ball forward. You'd swear there was only a point between them. 5 points the margin. Mayo have to get it and hope for a late miracle. With only a minute to go, however.
Leighton O'Shea has let a loose hand.
O'Shea has taken it, but it's got to be brought back. So Dublin sub Philly McMahon will come on, and he will replace Owen Merchant.
Again, it's not as bad as it looks. It was an open hand. That's what I was looking for in the replay. It is foul play, of course. Don't know how the ref will deal with it. But it's a lot of frustration now coming into it, because Mayo know they've had their chances, Ger, and they haven't taken them. And yeah, as I said earlier, you just have to admire the way the game management side of Dublin, when it comes down to the last 10-15, is outstanding. And we've got a really classic display of it here again tonight.
They are absolute masters in that respect. Kevin McLaughlin trying to worm his way through, holds on too long. Free kick for Dublin, and now it must be just a matter of seconds before that final whistle will go, which will confirm Dublin as champions yet again. Philly McMahon getting his hands on the ball, chance to take a free kick here. Davy Byrne from St. Olaf's, Stephen Cloxton from Parnell's club in Coolock. There'll be an extra minute, so it'll be up to the 76th minute before the referee blows his whistle, I think, as Colin Basquel frees himself, moves forward nicely. Now, will he score in the All-Ireland final? Not with that particular effort, but it's immaterial because Dublin are still leading by 5. In this fourth quarter, they had the wherewithal to see off the challenge of Mayo, for whom defeat is their lot once again. Jordan Flynn down here to Diarmuid O'Connor, trying to get past the referee as well as everybody else. Into the 77th minute. Aidan O'Shea bounces nicely. James Carr. Aidan O'Shea again. Late opportunity maybe for somebody. That somebody might have been James Durkin. Going to be a free in instead.
Yeah, John Small
just
happy
to put a better complexion on the final score of Dublin's tally of 214. 210 of that has come from play, and that is a mighty achievement.
Yeah, and a big score on the Mayo side, obviously, from the frees of Cillian O'Connor. John Small happy enough there to concede it. He knows the game is pretty much done, looking like the last kick.
This is the last kick of the game. It was taken out as far as Darren Cohen, just waiting for the final whistle. Cohen across the face of goal. Here's an opportunity for Kevin McLaughlin. Is there enough time for a 45? There's going to be. The referee giving us value for money, as it were.
Well,
so the 45 will be taken.
It's only for the record, this one. Obviously Dublin, the most deserving of championship winners once again.
Diarmuid O'Connor ready to take this. Could lob it in and maybe get a consolation late score. Let's see what happens. The referee blows his final whistle and it's all over. And Dublin are still the champions. It's 6 in a row. Relentless and unrelenting. James McCarthy there in the middle of it. It was his pass to set up Dean Rock after 13 seconds that set Dublin on their way. Mayo came back strongly. There were just 2 between them at half-time. But in the second half, Dublin did all they had to do, with Brian Fenton masterminding things in the middle for Desi Farrell's team. So Desi, building on the achievements of Jim Gavin, has got yet another All-Ireland victory for the Dubs. That's victory number 30 in all. Mayo, once again, experiencing utter frustration here at Croke Park. No great surprise, I'm sure, but Dublin, arguably the greatest football group ever to play this game. They may have arguments about that down in Kerry, but tonight, here, under the lights in Croke Park, it's Dublin who have prevailed, and there were, 5 points between the teams at the finish. Some setting, some night, to be a Dublin fan and a Dublin player. Sam is staying in the capital, Kevin.
Yeah, a new manager, Jar, a handful of new players, you'd say, but look, the same standard, probably a higher standard. So it's a team with no obvious weakness. You call them the greatest team, greatest squad of all time. I have to agree, just a magnificent effort. And you know something? In a few short months, July, 6-7 months away, we'll be rinsing and repeating, because this team don't look like they're going away. The Magnificent Seven will be there for them. And no sense that there's any chink at all in their armour. Marvellous display. It was put up to them by a valiant and a gallant Mayo team, but not enough. When the real questions was asked, Dublin just eased away. That game management I spoke about, just marvellous players in every line of the team.
Well, the Magnificent Seven can wait. Right now it's Dublin in 7th heaven, and as you can see, Cillian O'Connor and Mayo in the depths of despair. No county, and I'm sure every neutral in the land will be saying this, no county deserves the kind of misfortune in finals that has befallen Aidan O'Shea and other Mayo players down the years. That's 10 All-Ireland finals that the county has lost since 1951. And it'll go on and on for another while, because this Dublin team, I don't think they're finished with just 6.
Yeah, but there is hope for Mayo. They brought in a lot of young players. James Horn blooded a lot of fellas and got a good twist out of
In 5 games of 75 points to Moss. It's not bad, is it?
No, they were absolutely, whatever it's thrown at them, Joanne, they just deal with it. Mayo came out, they did very, very well on both sets of kickouts. They worked tirelessly along the middle of the field. They kept Fenton quiet in that first half. They kept Kilkenny quiet. But a sign of great team, great players. They came out in the second half. I think Howard around the middle of the field, Fenton around the middle of the field. Con was outstanding from start to finish. They grounded out. They added on those couple of scores. Kilkenny, Howard and Mannion got a couple of scores there about 15 minutes out, and it just put the I suppose the last few nails in the coffin. And look, Mayo were absolutely unbelievable. I think they surprised me. I thought they were actually better than I would have expected them to be, but at the end of the day, this Dublin team know how to win out games.
Okay, well, Stephen Cluxton is obviously used to receiving Sam Maguire, but he usually has his family and friends all around a very different occasion now as we head back to Ger.
A new record has been set of 6 in a row. And can I appeal to all supporters to replicate the behaviour of those of Limerick and Waterford last weekend and celebrate in a responsible and public health compliant manner. Agus anish, current sé áhas mór orm, Cogardagas go áld áha clia, agus current Sam Maguire a Brunner, Captain áha clia, Stephen Cluxton.
John Horan, GAA President, presenting the Sam Maguire Cup to Stephen Cluxton, the All-Ireland winners for 2020, winners for the 30th time ever. The 6th in a row has been achieved. That's 8 All-Ireland wins, remember, in 10 years. Some team and some captain.
The Cardigale, Tá nás orm an Corn, Shaw Glocka, Fern Balya Kia. This means a lot to us, the Dublin team, and I'd like to thank the officers of Croke Park for organising the competition very safely in the times that we live in. I'd like to congratulate Mayo on a fine game today. You brought it to the wire as always, you made it tough, and no doubt you'll be thereabouts again next year. I'd like to thank AAG for their sponsorship of Dublin GAA and to our partners whose support we value. To the officers of the County Board and the staff of Parnell Park, thank you for your support of the team and for your tireless work to promote Gaelic games in Dublin. To Desi, the management team and the backroom team, many thanks for your leadership and your guidance throughout the year. To the Dublin players, your dedication, self-sacrifice and commitment to the county has led you to this win today. Well done, well deserved. To our families, I'd like to thank you for your unrelenting support, encouragement and loyalty. It has been a challenging and tough year for us all, and for those who suffered loss in this pandemic, you are all in our thoughts. Hopefully this win will bring a smile to your local supporters watching at home, and I ask you all to enjoy this win in a safe and responsible manner. Please follow the guidelines and keep each other safe. To all, a very happy Christmas and a safe, peaceful 2021. Gurib Magot.